Hey everyone, this is Steve Galindo, Alba Friends Church, with some sacred wisdom for you. First of all, I want to start off by saying Happy Mother's Day. I'm recording this on Mother's Day 2021. So if you're watching and you're a mom, Happy Mother's Day. I hope you had a great day at church and a great day with your families. Um, Second thing I want to say is it's like 60 degrees or 58 degrees here in Joplin, and just got this cold spell that snapped in here this weekend, and it's awful to be in May, May 9, and you feel like you got to wear a jacket and a bunch of underclothes to stay warm. Anyway, what I want to share with you today is just a little bit of what I shared at my mother's memorial service on December 11 of last year. My mother went to be with the Lord on November 30 of 2020, and I got an opportunity to speak at her memorial service. And I told the people there were three things that I was grateful for to my mother. Number one is she taught me about the importance of working and making money. The second thing she gave me, was a great love of music, an eclectic desire for music. I like all kinds of music. And then the third thing, probably the most important thing of all, is that she told me about the Lord, and she prayed that I would become a Christian, and I became one. And this is what she told me. When I was in college, I was like really away from God, and I was just kind of like doing my own thing, and I didn't care anything about the Lord or heaven or the Bible or the church, and I didn't want to talk to Christians about it. But my mother was really concerned because she knew that there really is a hell where people suffer, and she really knew that when Antichrist rises on earth, there's going to be a tremendous tribulation that nobody wants to try to live through. And so she was concerned about her children going through that period. She told me at the time that she felt pretty sure my sister was okay with God, and that wind's getting stronger. But she also was very concerned about me and my two brothers. And so she said one evening a friend of hers called her, wanted to go visit a church. My mother agreed to go. They had a guest preacher, and the preacher talked about how he'd had a son who he raised in church, and he taught about Jesus, but when the young man got older, he decided to walk away and do his own thing. And the father was very concerned about him, and so he and his wife prayed, and they covenanted together with God, and they basically said, Lord, you can do anything that you want to do with our son as long as you bring him to Calvary and help him be born again. And major things changed in the guy's life, and he became a Christian. So this minister shared that story. Of course, it perked my mother's interest up because she had three sons she was concerned about. And so the minister said at the end of the service, if you have a child that's not living for God, I want you to stand to your feet and pray with me. And she stood up and she prayed. And they basically said, God, I give you my son or my daughter, and I ask you to do whatever you need to do to help them come to a place of salvation in their lives. Um, Whatever needs to happen, let it happen in Jesus' name. And my mother said her only little clause that she fit into the contract with God was, please don't hurt him and put him in a wheelchair. Well, anyway, she prayed that prayer, and a month and a half later, all hell broke loose in my life. A job that I cherished uh, went down the tubes. The company went bankrupt, and a young lady that I cherished, that I plan on spending the rest of my life with, walked out. And in 1 month, January 1987, I lost my job and my gal. I was shattered, especially over the gal leaving. And I ended up giving my heart to God January 26, 1987, around 10 or 10:30 in the morning, and it totally revolutionized my life. Of course, I called my parents and told them what was going on, and though my mother felt, sad that I was sad, she was also glad that God was moving in my life and brought me to a place to where I returned to Him to live for Him. And that's been 32 years ago, give or take well, you do the math, but I don't have time. But it's been over 30 years ago, and I'm still walking with Jesus and still enjoy sharing Jesus with people, and I enjoy the blessings of the Lord in my life. And so I give you that to give you this, that if you have somebody in your life that's not living for God, you need to pray the same prayer. and stand in faith believing that God's going to change their life, and you can't rush in and rescue them. You need to let things happen as they're going to happen because God's got a plan. I don't want my kids going through the Great Tribulation period, and I certainly don't want them going to hell. And so if you're like me, you know how to pray and trust God for miracles. I'm trusting God for miracles, and I hope that you are too. That's just a little sacred wisdom that I wanted to share with you. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I say God bless you to all of you. Thank you for listening.